Hello everybody, this is Don1.1 and Mekkah,
Hey.
and you're watching Chapter 1 of my Fire Emblem 11 Hard 5 0% Gross playthrough. So I think that this is one of the most, if not the most, difficult starting chapters in the entire series. I'm not sure if you agree with me on that, Mekkah?
Yeah, I agree. Marth is like the worst tactician ever and decided, hey, let's go kill a bunch of pirates, but let's not bring any vulneraries, because we're not gonna get hit, right?
Yeah, and he didn't even decide to bring a healer along. So, you know, we have like this entire first several turns of this chapter where anytime you take damage, the only way to heal is by standing on a fort, and so that really severely limits like where we can put characters and what characters that we can use. Another reason that it's really difficult is because almost every enemy in this chapter has an axe, and the best way to deal damage is to have Jagen attack with the Silver Lance, or to have like a character like Drog, who only uses lances chipped from afar with a Javelin. So it's pretty clear that, you know, in the original Fire Emblem game, there wasn't a weapon triangle, so we never had to worry about that, but here we have to worry about that, and we have to deal with sub-optimal hit rates all the time.
Yeah, and the enemies don't have suboptimal hit rates at all. They hit you all the time if you have a lance equipped, because they have insane weapon rank bonuses. Another reason why this is a hard Chapter 1 is, well, your characters suck. Like, if you compare Jagen to someone like Marcus from FE6, Marcus would almost one-round KO enemies with an Iron Sword, not quite, but he would put them in range for others to kill. And here he is 2 at KOing them with the Silver Lance with not much room to spare. And he doesn't even put them in range of other characters to kill. You need like 2 others just to finish off someone that Jagen hit with the Silver Lance. So that's why we need to use all our characters to the best of our abilities.
Yes, and that includes Sita, who is apparently flying off into the top left corner of the map for no reason, but we're putting her there for some diversionary tactics. She's going to help divert one of those pirates that was walking through the water, and it also induces some of the enemies near the gate to move, and that makes them easier to deal with later on, because we want to try to get away with not having to kill every single enemy here, because not only does that eat up our weapon uses, but it also means that we're going to inevitably take damage along the way, and so we want to avoid doing that if possible.
Yeah, Draug also is kind of a diversion thing, where he distracts one enemy ahead of time while Jagen is still busy with like 3 or 4 pirates at once. Everyone else just kind of sits there and chips with javelins. Your Cavaliers, Abel and Kain, just don't do all that much damage, and Kain can't even use javelins, so that's pretty annoying.
Yeah, but Drog actually does pretty well in this chapter because the enemy pirates don't double him, thankfully, and you know, he does about the same, or if not better, damage than Kain if he used an Iron Sword, and he also gets 4 hit KO'd, so that's I think that's actually better than Jagen. Jagen gets 4 hit KO'd as well.
Yeah, but someone else who's really awesome is Gordin, because he's the only character that can hit at 2 range with very high accuracy, since he has a boast, so he doesn't face weapon triangle disadvantage. Fortunately, he only has 5 movement, which is the same as Drog, so that's very unfortunate. But for this chapter at least, he is a hero.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that Gordin would be useful, because the archer class in this game is absolutely terrible. I mean, they got the short end of the stick in so many respects. They can't melee, their base stats are atrocious, they have the lowest movement type with knights, and they actually have a worse movement type than knights. They get worse movement penalties going through forest than armor knights do. So, despite all of that, Gordin still manages to be one of the more useful units in this chapter, although, to be fair, everybody in this chapter is useful.
Except Marth, I guess, because all he does is visit villages. I don't think he even attacks. Marth is the only guy who can visit villages, so we got us 10,000 gold so we could buy some more iron lances and javelins, because Marth didn't bring very many of those either. And in a moment, he's gonna visit that village and get us our only healer for this chapter, and it's gonna be a huge sigh of relief.
So this healer, his name is Riss. He is a bald guy, he looks kind of old. This game has great senior representation, by the way. Just like FE6, actually has better senior citizen representation than FE6. So that's a huge point in his favor, in my opinion. But one of the reasons why people hate this chapter is because the boss at the end is a huge pain in the butt. He is an axe user, and our best way to damage him is to use a Silver Lance. He has 14 or 15 strength, so he 2 hit KOs Jagen even if you had Riss heal him in between. So we need an enemy face counter plus a player face hit, and even then, that only does 22 out of 30 HP damage. So the way to get the remaining 8 damage is to chip at him using our units who, you know, either have triangle disadvantage, or have terrible hit, or get doubled.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Gordin's hit is like the best of everyone, I believe, and you can't really use Kane in 0% growth, because if he doesn't gain speed at all, then he just gets doubled and dies. So it's going to be Abel with his pinky Iron Sword.
Yeah, and they just barely managed to get the KO. It should be worth noting that sometimes this boss can have 11 speed, and then he doubles Abel, so you have to reset. But anyway, that's chapter 1, completed in 8 turns. We will see you next time.
See ya.